Hey Uncle Fritz, this is your nephew Thomas. I'm going to show you exactly how I would pack a Kenback style computer so it has minimal chance of getting busted. If you follow these instructions, then I have no one to blame except myself if it arrives in pieces. So let's get started. The computer you have will look similar to this, but not quite, so you might have to modify some things. First of all, I'm sending you a great big double-sided box. This is an expensive box, but it's pretty good and strong. The first thing that you want to do is find the side that has the dotted pink line. That's the side that's going to cut open. You want to use a box cutter or a sharp knife. Don't just pull the tape off. That'll ruin the box. Cut carefully along the seams where the dotted line is, and the box will open up without damage. If you just pull off the tape, it won't be good. Next, once you open up the big box, you'll get the inner box. It's quite a bit smaller. The first thing that you'll do with that is find the end that you're cut open. Again, it's heavily marked. Take the box cutter, and with 3 slices, you'll be able to open this up. It's full of lots of packing materials. Gently take out the foam and a whole bunch of bubble wrap, and then some extra pads. I think everything you need is going to be in there. Historically, the most fragile part of a Kenback computer are these push-button switches on the front. For decades, people have struggled with them breaking out. The reason is they're just glued in there with 1970s vintage glue, which was really bad. So we need to protect them. The way that we're going to do them is with this piece of rigid foam. This foam is not going to be the exact right size for the Kenback you have. What you need to do is you need to see how well it will line up over this, and then you'll probably have to trim a little bit of it off. You can actually, even with your fingers, just rub off and trim this. Get it so it fits inside the blue case and slides in to protect those switches. When it's put on right, it should be formed right in there nice and firm, and I can hit this with my hand and not be able to dislodge it. Once this is sitting here, I put a little bit of masking tape on to hold it. Here you can see I put 2 pieces of blue painter's masking tape. I've used blue painter's masking tape because it's not going to pull off the surface finish or anything. It comes off very easily. After you get that on there, and it should be good and firm, there's a big roll of large bubble wrap. This bubble wrap is 12 inches wide, which should be just perfect to go from the top of this foam area to the back of the Kenback. And the idea is to put this on, wrapping it around. Here I'm taking the styrofoam and gently wrapping it around the Kenback. It doesn't need to be tight. In fact, it should be kind of loose. If you make this tight, that takes away a little bit of the spongy elastic properties. The cord on the back of the Kenback I'm just leaving sticking out. And once that's all up there, another piece of masking tape will hold that on. Once the bubble wraps around the Kenback, you can see that it comes pretty much from the front to the back. There will be 2 pads already kind of taped up that was inside the box. One might be a little bit thicker than the other. I would take the thickest pad and put that in the inner box first. It fits pretty well right inside the box. And then I put the Kenback in face first into the open box. You'll notice that there's a little bit of gap around the edges. That's fine. That'll be a place to put the cord. I want the cord separated from the computer so the cord banging around doesn't end up denting or scratching the paint somehow, but there should be plenty of room. on the side to stuff the cord. Then I take the remaining pad that's been taped up and put it on top. It doesn't really have to be tight in here. In fact, I prefer if it was a little bit on the loose side. If the Ken bag can float up and down half an inch, that's fine. Now, in between the big and the small box, I've got it set up so there's about 3 inches. It should be on all sides. My recommendation is to get about 3 to 4 inches worth of peanuts, put it in the bottom, set the small box in on top of it, pour in a little bit more peanuts, about half the peanuts, and then adjust. Make sure that there's a good gap, preferably about 3 to 4 inches in between both boxes. Then fill it up with the rest of the peanuts. After the styrofoam peanuts are all used up, I then use the big pieces of bubble wrap to fill in the spaces. What you don't want to do is you don't want to have a big hill in the middle. That'll just put pressure and take away a little bit of the cushion effect. So try to lay things down flat. Try to get it over around the edges, not just a big lump in the middle. And then I take some of the real fine little bubble wrap pieces, and that can go around the edges just to make sure that the distribution of pressure doesn't go right in the center, which keeps it from moving. I try to fill in some of the gaps a little bit to make sure that there's no resettling of the peanuts. The way that I seal up boxes is first I take some little small pieces of tape, I close it up, approximate the edges as close as possible, then put the small pieces of tape on to hold it roughly closed. Then I put big pieces of tape all around to really seal it. Okay, you'll notice that I put in a lot more packing material than really fits. It doesn't need to be so it bows out. I figured I'd give you more packing material than you're likely to need. Don't use it all. Throw away the stuff that you don't need. The other remaining thing is the shipping label. I went ahead and printed off a shipping label because I don't know if you have access to a printer. The shipping label will be right inside the top, right when you open it up, inside the flaps. If you end up shipping on a different date and FedEx gives you some issues about that, let me know. I will print a new shipping label. I can give you an email address to a shipping label, which you then just on the internet print out, and you can use that. But I don't know if you have access to a printer, so I'm going to include one that has a particular date that you may or may not be able to make it by. Call me if there's any problems. Bye.